On December 16th, the Urbandale Fire Department's Assistant Fire Chief, Scott Lyon, presented at Webster Elementary. Since the beginning of the school year, Miss Whitver's third grade class has been involved with learning how their community works and citizenship within the community. Students learn from presenters how the city functions and have been tasked with creating and running their own city. Assistant Chief Lyon spoke to the students on such topics as roles within the fire department and how we work with other city departments.
I'm Scott. I'm with the fire department. I'm an assistant chief at the fire department, and we'll talk a little bit more about what that means here in a little bit. But first we need to talk about how the fire department works within the city of Urbandale in our community. Do you guys remember John coming in the other day and talking about City Hall and the budget and things like that? Well, the fire department is a department of the city of Urbandale, just like the police department, the water department, and those types of groups within the city. So the way the fire department works is we have a budget that gets set, so a certain amount of money that the fire department can spend every year. And we can't go over that amount of money. No matter what happens, we've got to make sure that we don't spend any more of that money than we possibly can. And that money helps provide for paying our personnel, our firefighters and our paramedics, for fuel in our fire trucks, for things to clean the fire station, you name it. It all comes back to that pot of money that we get every year from the city. So we have to make sure that we really are mindful of how we spend our money. And we have to make sure we spend our money very, very responsible, because what would happen, you think, if we ran out of money in the middle of the year? That's a bad thing, right? That's a way bad thing. So we make sure we don't do that. So within the fire department, we have the head of the fire department, the number one person. And what do you think he's called? He's the fire chief. He is the fire chief, and he's responsible for the day-to-day overall management of the fire department. Underneath the fire chief, we have people that are called assistant chiefs. I'm one of them. My job title is Assistant Chief of Operations. So fire department operations. So fire calls, rescue calls, and I also am responsible for emergency management within the city. So if a tornado were to come through town and that type of thing, it's my responsibility to develop the plans that we need to make sure that we can handle those problems as they come through. By a show of hands, who thinks we respond to more fire calls than medical calls? Ooh, so you guys know what you're talking about. All right, there's one. Who thinks we respond to more medical calls than fire calls? Absolutely. That is one of the ways that our fire department serves the community of Urbandale, is we function a lot of times as primary health care providers for the community. If you were to fall down, get hurt, your parents or somebody else would call 911, we'd come out, our paramedics would take a look at you to see if you need to go to the hospital. We do blood pressure clinics. We do car seat checks to make sure that car seats are properly installed for little kids. So we do a lot of things within the community to make sure that you're as safe as possible. So we do a lot of things, just not going to fire calls. Really, our number one goal is to prevent fires. Do you guys all remember Fire Prevention Week? What'd you learn during Fire Prevention Week? 3 words, right? Or is it 3 words? Stop, drop, and roll. Yep. So that's one of the big things that we do is we come out and we talk to school children, but we also talk to adults about fire safety. So education is really our number one goal. We want to prevent the fire or the emergency from ever happening in the first place. So that's kind of what we do. Our fire department has 2 fire stations. One's just right over here. You guys know where that one's at? Yeah. We have that fire station. It has people in it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. Doesn't matter if it's Christmas or the 4th of July, people are working, they're on duty, and they're ready to serve the community. Then on the other side of town, we have another fire station that has another group of people in it, ready 24 hours a day to come and take care of an emergency. Soon, in the next couple of 5 years anyway, and that's soon for the fire department, we'll have another fire station hopefully built further out on the far side of town, where they're building a lot of homes right now, so we can go ahead and serve the community out there as quick as we can. So that's what the fire department does. We're very busy. We run a lot of calls. We do a lot of public education. And anytime we get the chance to come out and talk to students or anybody else in the community, that's really, really what we want to do. Again, we want to prevent the emergency from ever happening. So that's our goal. What do you guys think? Does that sound like the fire department, what you thought the fire department would normally do? Some of it, yeah. Some of it, no. So we talked a little bit about my specific job within the fire department as the operations chief. What I need to do is I need to make sure, or the things that I do is I make sure that we're responding to calls as quick as we can and as safely as we can, that the firefighters have the things that they need to do their jobs, and that we're operating most effectively and efficiently as we can on the emergency scene. So in city government, one thing that we always have to remember is that we all have somebody that we report to. Everybody has a boss and everybody has to do their part. So how do you think we get along with other city departments, like the police department? Would the fire department and the police department go to the same type of calls? We do. We do all the time. Serious car crashes, the police department is there. House fires, the police department is there. And even on medical calls, the police department is there. So we work day in and day out with the Urbandale Police Department. So we have to have a very, very good relationship with the police department. We also work with other city groups, like Public Works, the people that plow the streets and maintain water systems, fire hydrants, the water department. So we work with everybody in the city. We're just one small piece of the entire city government, of the city, of the community of the city. So we all have to work together. So what questions do you guys have?
What do you like most about your job?
What I like about my job is the ability to come out on a daily basis and make a difference, even if it's just a little difference in someone's day. Now, those people that I get to make a difference with, number one is the community. To be able to be there when someone's having a bad day and make it just a little bit better, that's something that I really enjoy. But I also really enjoy being able to do something for the firefighters that work for us. To watch them work effectively and professionally, and to do the job the best they can. That's what I really enjoy. Yes?
What do you like least about your job?
My least favorite part about my job? Probably the time away from home. Sometimes our hours can be very long, especially gentlemen like Lieutenant Bissell. He works 24 hours on, so that whole day and whole night he works at the fire station. So he's not home to tuck his kids into bed or to wake them up and take them to school 1 out of every 3 days. So that could be the downside to the job. But I can tell you, the good things by far outweigh the bad things of the job. It's a great job. Yes?
What should people do when driving if a fire truck is coming?
Ah, that's a great question. That is a really good question. The first thing, you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Stay calm. Just remain calm. And when you can, drivers need to go ahead and pull to the right, slow down, and let the emergency vehicle pass. Now, if there's nowhere for the driver to go because there's too much traffic, our people are trained to go ahead and shut their lights and siren off and wait patiently. And then once traffic clears, they'll proceed with their emergency call. But drivers need to pull to the side. That would be very helpful for us.
I've been to a fire station, and sometimes I see like things like the boots with the pants in them. Can you explain why they're all sitting out on the floor?
Our gear, the stuff that we wear when we go to a house fire is very, very special. It allows us to go into an environment that's hot. We have to also wear a bottle on our backs that hooks to a face piece so we can breathe air. Because remember, what do you do in smoke? Crawl low, right? We do the same thing, but we have to bring our own air with us. The firefighters have their equipment set up a special way so they can get dressed as quickly as they can, as safely as they can to respond to the call. Some of the times it's 60 seconds, a minute, other times it's 90 seconds. So think about going from sleeping to in the fire truck and leaving in 90 seconds. You got to be fast.
You run drills?
We do. We practice all the time. We like to say at the fire department that every day is a training day. That every day the firefighters train and they hopefully learn something new every day. One of the things I want you guys to understand is that right now you're in 3rd grade, right? I don't care what you do for your job when you get older, but you need to understand that you have to learn every day of your life. You have to learn something new every day. And if you do that, you're going to be pretty happy and successful. One last question.
Which fire department do you work at?
I work at the Urbandale Fire Department, and my office is right over here at the closest fire station to your school.
What do we say?
Thank you.
Thank you.